Hey Mung Beans. I'm Joey.
I'm Ashley.
And this is Wine Time Mysteries.
If you're into true crime,
And if the paranormal gets your nips hard,
then this is for you. But before we get started,
make sure to follow us on Spotify and stalk us on Insta and TikTok.
or send your inquiries to winetimemysteries@gmail.com, and we promise to at least try to get back to you.
Lego! Warning, today's episode contains graphic content that may not be suitable for people under the age of 18. If you are considered a minor, exit stage left. Please consult your GP before listening to this podcast. Thanks, bitch. Hello.
Hi.
Fancy seeing you here.
It's so fancy seeing you here. Hello.
I'm good, how are you?
I did not say, how are you? I just said, hello.
You can get fucked. I didn't ask you how you were. You could have just gone along with the fucking...
No.
Good. You're like, no.
It's not the kind of girl I am.
It's
I'm
not
a
I was
lady.
giving, I'm taking it back.
Give it
Fuck
back.
me.
No.
No. Gross. Episode 7. Can you believe it? Yep. They haven't pulled us off the Spotify yet. I'm a grumpy bum today.
You think my face would just bring sunshine to his life, but no, apparently not.
No one's face can today.
Oh, not today, Satan.
Not even if Jesus came down here. Well, actually, then I'd have to kind of reassess my life because I don't believe in him, but...
You'd be like, hold it right there. Let me figure this
I
shit
need
out
to take a
first.
second first.
Give me a second.
And then, after I believe in you, then I'm going to have a talk to myself, yeah.
Thank you, little mung beans, for tuning in and listening to us.
Yeah, thank you.
We started this off thinking we'd have like 2 listeners.
Yeah, and we laughed about it too.
I'm like,
Or not even necessarily listens. Like,
Yeah.
we just thought 2 people were here, but
yeah. We're like, oh yeah, maybe our friends will check it out,
Yeah.
but 2 people max.
and it's growing slowly, but it's growing.
We're getting there. We're growing.
Oh, you're so gross.
It's growing.
A dick joke, and we're how many
Metapod
seconds?
used Harden. You're welcome. I just love hanging out with you. I get a little bit nervous, bringing people in to see our tight circle.
Are you toey today?
No, fuck no.
Is that what it is? Like,
I just like
it's a dick joke and vaginas. Oh my.
I'm a fucking child. I can't help myself.
Fucking hell, that's great.
I'm just trying to loosen the mood up.
Oh, fuck. That's what today. Everything's
I'm
going to be.
muttly today.
Everything's going to be a clunge joke. It's all about clunge.
No clunge holes. What did I say earlier?
We're talking about your clammy little swamp.
Wasn't me. We were talking. You said clunge, and then I think I said clunge hole, and then you said moist little You said something.
I did not say the M word. Gross.
But you say clunge.
Yeah.
I told you I didn't like clunge, and then you said sweaty little clunge hole or some
I said your sweaty little lady swamp, and you're like, yuck, and I was talking about your slushy clunge.
slushy. What was it? Slushy clunge?
Slushy clunge.
Slush clunge.
I didn't say cunt.
Slush clunge.
There's nothing like building you up to tear you down.
Oh, I just want to build you up.
So,
Grab your little slushy clunges. Your little slush hole.
oh, I can't.
You just snorted it.
did.
I love it.
Get your little feminine wipes for your slushy clunge and let's get ready.
Get your Femi products. Is it Femi?
Uh,
You're fucked. What gets us going? Do you think we're bitching about people or just doing things? No, we're talking about fucking blood flaps. Like, I love you.
blood flaps.
It's fucking gross. She's just living her best life. I love it. I'm really enjoying your Joey times. That's what I'm enjoying.
Thank you.
Very good.
I enjoy doing them. I don't know what the next one's going to be. So if you have any ideas, please let us know.
Yeah. Let us know. Be like, Joey should talk about this.
Yeah.
Oh, and maybe it could even be like, I think he should do it in this accent.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
For
fun.
one ep, that'd be cool.
Yeah, recommend an accent for me to try to ruin.
To butcher.
For an entire episode, and I'll try it.
Yeah.
I won't do a great job at all. Anyway, what are we talking about today, Del?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know, love?
Yep, that's why I'm asking.
Hang on, I'm just trying to... Blood flap.
The moment's gone, Ashley. You blinded me.
I knew it would come back. Today, I am talking about the Mackenzie family murders, aka Greenough Family Massacre, which is not funny. So I might do it again.
So, what is on the agenda today, Del?
Well, I'm going to be talking about the Mackenzie family murders, aka Greenough Family Massacre. Because that sounds like a good time.
What year?
Sassy
That's going to be the running thing forever now.
Oh yeah, shut up. I get excited, all right?
I know, it was funny.
I couldn't help myself. As I was about to say... All right, Muttley, keep it down. Now, a lot of the info I got from a documentary called The Story of the Greenough Family. Other than that, I found a few things here and there, but it was super hard to find, like, the full story.
Where did this happen?
How about I get into it? I love you. And how do you deal with me? Because that's annoying.
Yeah.
It really is.
It really is.
Oh, tell me how you really feel, okay? As I was saying, on 21st of February 1993, a 22-year-old farmhand named William Patrick Mitchell, but he also went by the name Old Mate Bill.
Bill?
So this guy Bill spent the afternoon getting high on weed, alcohol, and amphetamines. He was just having his own little party.
Sounds like a dirty little party.
Yeah, dirty Bill.
Dirty little bitch.
Later that evening, he thought, it'd be a great idea to go for a drive. Because, that's what I do after I've just gotten jacked up on the weeds.
While he was high.
Yeah, what an idiot. So he drove to the home of 31-year-old single mother of three, Karen Mackenzie. He arrived at the rural property near Greenough, which is about 400 kilometres north of Perth, around 3 a.m. Because I also do that. I'm like, I like this person, I'm going to go drive to their house at 3 o'clock in the morning after being high on weed and amphetamines and alcohol.
That's just never a good time to
Never
do
a good
anything.
time. So Karen's 16-year-old son, Daniel, heard the car pull up, and as you would, he went outside to see who it was. To be like, who the fuck is rolling up to my house at 3 a.m? Daniel was greeted by Bill, who was armed with an axe. He struck Daniel in the head, knocking him to the ground, and continued to hack before heading on to the house, leaving Daniel to die. He went inside to find Karen sleeping on a mattress in the lounge room. He went up to her and just started hacking at her, and it was quoted as being a frenzied attack, and that he hit her time and time again in the head and the neck. After he had killed her, he headed to Karen's room in search of drugs, because, he just needed a little bit more, but ended up grabbing hand lotion that he found laying around in the bathroom. He heads back to her body, and using the lotion, he rapes her. After he was finished, he then covered her head with a blanket and left her body half naked, crouched, kneeling on the floor. Bill then heads to the next room, which belongs to Karen's 7-year-old daughter, Amara, where she was asleep at the time. He brutally attacked her, and sadly, after killing her, he did rape her body. Then heading on to the final room was 5-year-old Katrina, where it's quoted that he killed her quickly. So covered with blood, and after just killing 4 people, he goes to the bathroom, washes off the blood from his arms and legs, and dries himself with a rag on a stick. No, just a rag. I'm sorry, I shouldn't make light of that. Then, being very careful, takes the lotion and axe and goes to his car and drives away. Now, I just want to add, there was a court order made that the full details would never be revealed due to the nature of the attack, because it was so brutal and shocking. Like, it was hard to find exactly what had happened to the bodies.
Almost like it was sealed, right?
Yeah. So before we go into the gruesome discovery, I wanted to go back a little and talk about Karen and her family, because she seems like a sweet angel. So Karen was known by her friends and family as a happy, friendly and bubbly person, and just happy to help anyone out where she could, She was just a good egg. Her mother said she was full of life, always laughing, and just wanted to know everything. She was into music, loved nature, and being outside. She was also quoted as being a good mother. Given the life she had, she tried her hardest and she loved her kids. So, like most kids, she went through a rebellious stage, which involved drugs, which I couldn't find exactly what kind of drugs she was into, so I don't know if it was just pot or...
PCP, heroin, cocaine, injected all.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm just making that up.
PCP. So, she got into drugs, as I said. She then fell pregnant because, you know, taking drugs means pregnancy.
Well, taking drugs means a diminished capacity and you just make mistakes.
All right, smarty pants.
Or not.
Can you tell which one I was and which one Joe was? I'm going to get high tonight. Just some bogan. You're like, yeah, she, you know.
I was just boring. I've always been very boring. Wink.
Wink, wink.
A wink.
So she fell pregnant, obviously, because she's just having a good time before she's even 15. Having a bit too much fun. Now, she was just a baby as well, but she tried to make it work. She moved out when she was about 5 months pregnant and tried to be a mum, which I think is super cute because a lot of people at that age goes one of two ways. But the fact that she also tried to make it on her own as a single mum, I think that's super cute. So she tried to make it work, and I think she came to the realization that she was not prepared to be a mother at 15. So she asked her mother if she could raise Daniel for her, and he went to Queensland to live until he was 16. So he went there when he was about 2, by the way. So she gave it a good crack. You know, the whole parenting, she gave it a shot. I'd hand my 2-year-old back as well, just saying. No.
I just wouldn't have one.
Or just don't have one. Because that's the other option. Now, when she was 24, Kez met a man named Andrew Allen. Double A. Ooh. They settled down and had 2 girls.
What was that? Double A. Ooh.
What else do you use batteries for?
Oh, no. I didn't go to that. I don't know how you went straight to insertion. I don't know how that happened.
How do you not?
Oh, mine are rechargeable.
It's 2021.
By
We
USB.
recharge.
Wake up.
Unfortunately, it didn't last long before it ended, and I couldn't actually find why they broke up. So I don't know if it was bad or just growing apart. Key news.
Here news.
So she moved into the place at Greenough. It was pretty run down, but she was trying to build it into a home for her family, renovating and such, which is super cute. After about 14 years, Daniel decided to move in with Kez, as she was now settled and doing well, and she was happy to have him back. I couldn't actually find anything to see how their relationship was. Like, given it's 14 years, like, was she there all the time? Was she talking to him? Did he know straight off the bat that her mum was not his mum?
I reckon
that
he would
dynamic?
have.
Yeah.
I reckon he would have.
But, like,
it would have been
wouldn't
strange.
you resent your mother to an extent?
I think...
I was very iffy about it. I was like, I wanted to know how that dynamic worked.
That would probably be case by case. I think if, for example, that were me and I was given to another family member because my mum loved me and wanted me to be raised right and she just knew she couldn't, then I'm sure there would be an amount of resentment that I would have, but at the end of the day, she did what was better for me and what was better for her, so...
Yeah,
I like to think it's probably glass half full.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it must have been good because apparently Daniel told his grandmother that he really wanted to go and see his mum by the time he was 16, so I don't know if there was conversations before then. So he grabbed a ticket and he got on a coach and he travelled to WA. And can I just say, that would have been a long-ass drive. 2 days, 3 hours, 10 minutes to be exact.
Well, yeah. What, it's like 8, 9 hours just to fly there.
Yeah, no thank you.
Hell no.
What a time. So now I will jump to Friday, February 19th, 1993. Karen had asked Daniel to babysit the kids while she went off to party in Geraldton. Now that sounds really bad because it's like, oh, come back and live with me so you can babysit my kids. not what I'm trying to say here.
Oh, I didn't even go there.
Oh, my head, I was like, now you're going out to party? Yeah, no, not the case. So she went to a party in Geraldton. Now, she stayed till about 5 a.m. the Saturday morning, and she gets a lift home with a friend. So on the Monday morning, February 22nd, 1993, a man and his wife, who were friends with Karen, were on their way to visit, as she had arranged for them to help with some renovations around the house. I didn't actually grab their names, and when I saw them in the doco, like, the man's face was blurred out, so he obviously doesn't want to be named.
Private, so yeah.
Yeah, I also would not want to relive having to see what he does. So I said before, she was just doing up the house. They turned into the driveway and see what appears to be a body laying on the ground. Thinking it could be a joke, the man gets out of the car to investigate. Because, yeah, I don't know what I would think.
I wouldn't go to a joke, full stop. I would go in there preparing it to be.
I think I'd see it and then reverse and then go and get help.
Bye!
No thank you, bye. See, I can talk about it. I can look at crime scene photos, but I think actually seeing something like that, I'd be like,
When you put yourself in that situation, if you're going to be exposed to it, would be quite scary.
Because I have seen a loved one open casket funeral, because I thought that's what I would want, like, to see them before they went. Can I just say, that shit stuffed me up for a long time. I could not get that image out of my mind. Do not recommend seeing a dead body, even if it's a family member. He sees it's the dead body of Daniel. However, it was not the Daniel he knew, and he could not describe what he saw and was quoted as saying it was hard to tell that was him. In shock, he started to head to the back of the house, calling out to Kez. By this time, his wife is absolutely terrified, as you would be, and starts screaming at him to get back in the car and find the police. I would do exactly that, no thank you. Thank goodness he did not go inside the house. So, being a rural property, obviously the neighbours aren't close at all. So they headed to a house. It was even said that the guy, like, jumped a fence and, like, ran over stuff that if I was home, I saw that, I wouldn't let him in. I pretend I wasn't home too. So no one's home. He heads to the main road again. No one's there. So then he heads to Greenough Pottery and asks them to call the police as there has been a murder. First officers on the scene were Forensic Officer Jones and Detective Merv Cousins. But it also made me think, who names their child Merv? That's an adult name.
Well, when was this again?
1993. So what, he would have been 70s, 60s? 60s? Like, as in born in the 60s?
Yeah, that would make sense around then.
Yeah.
I reckon.
You just don't have a child named Merv. Hey, Merv, come over here.
It's like Phyllis.
Philosophical.
Phyllis. You don't get, like, named Phyllis until you're actually in your 80s.
So obviously Merv and Jones had no idea what they were walking into. They knew there was a body of a young boy in the driveway and that there was other members he lived with. So Merv was the first to enter the house. On ya, Merv. Good job. Brave old Merv. He saw that the house was a mess. Clothing everywhere. Same. They found Karen's naked body crouched with her head still covered in a blanket with just blood everywhere. They then found Amara and Katrina. Detective Jones said he will never forget that horrific day, and he remembers one detective turning to him and saying, "What do we do now?" The murder scene was said to be so horrific that none of the officers on the scene had ever dealt with anything. Dealt? What was that? Had never dealt with anything like that before. Small town, obviously, so it's not something you're going to see every day. I saw things of, like, officers having to compose themselves, vomiting at the scene. I find it interesting as well when they mention that kind of stuff, because for me growing up, you always see officers as just
strong and...
Yeah. See, I love that. I pause and you grab the words for me without me even asking. So being a small town as well, the officers alerted a major crime squad in Perth, Western Australia, requesting more assistance into the investigation, because this is obviously not above their pay grade, but it's not something they've dealt with before. So, you know, bring in the big guns. So I wanted to dive into the investigation a little bit because I found this doco and it was just a wild ride. It really made me hate this piece of shit called Bill. So I'm going to share it so you can all hate him too. You're welcome. Police and forensics searched the murder scene, just collecting whatever evidence they could find, as they had just arrived and needed to work out what had happened. Obviously not even sure why Daniel's body is outside. They were able to get footprints, tyre tracks, and found some evidence next to Daniel's body, but I couldn't find what they found,
I
but it was
wonder-
mentioned.
You know how they said they found him outside, so they assumed that he would have been the first to die. What if he actually stumbled in on what was happening with his mother, and he ran outside to go get help, and that's how he died? Maybe he wasn't the first.
Maybe.
Or maybe they look at states of like coagulation of the blood, and
I was just going to say decomp.
I don't think it would
You're a
have
clever
started.
girl.
Well, I don't think he would have started decomposing that early.
So they searched every part of the house, obviously, continued throughout the day, and for some of the night, packaging and tagging whatever they could find.
Why did you look at me like that?
So what happens when you sit across from me? Of course I'm going to give you the eye.
Packaging.
So by 4 a.m. Tuesday, the bodies were removed from the house and flown to Perth for the post-mortem examination. Like they were just laying there for a whole day.
In the house.
Yeah. I always wondered that with crime scenes. Like, do they leave? Obviously, they leave the bodies there for a while. But, like, you're walking around. Wouldn't there be a smell? And it's like if you're there for a while as well.
Well, it is WA, so it's going to be hot, right?
Exactly.
So there is the chance that that could be the case. But I do know that from research, that around crime scenes where there's a lot of blood, it just smells like iron.
Oh, really?
Like a rusty sort of metallic smell.
But don't your bodies let go of your bowels and, you know what I mean? Like, don't things start escaping the body?
If you have stuff in there, your body will release because there's no muscles to contract to hold it in
like
anymore.
Gases and
fecal matter and urine.
Yeah. Like, not only blood, obviously, and just a horrific scene, but then on top, no thank you. Now, by 7 a.m., the team was back with police and SES volunteer workers to search around the property. And they're just volunteer workers, so it's just your average Joey. I could not do that. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's not the kind of volunteering I would like to do.
So this went on for 7 long days and nights as the property was big, and they obviously don't want to miss anything, which makes me super happy that they're actually going further out and seeing if they can find anything at all. So 3 days into the examination of the crime scene, detectives were able to find a palm print. Some greasy marks on the same door where they found the palm print. There's grease everywhere. I'm a greasy girl. Yeah. They removed the door and sent it back for further study because obviously they didn't have good cameras back then, resources compared to what it is now. I mean, it's 1993, come on. They ain't got shit. They also did find some fingerprints, but unfortunately, it wasn't the full fingerprint, just the tip.
I hope you hate yourself for that.
I do. So this I found super interesting to me. They ended up testing and working out what the mark was, like as in the grease. Super interesting. Finding out that it was lotion and pinpointing the actual ingredients. So they're doing their darndest.
They're doing everything they can.
They're doing everything. I'd never thought of it before, like for a crime scene, but they then tested it against the lotions she had in her bathroom, but they couldn't find a match.
Well, he took it.
The officers contacted the pathologist to find out if any swabs had been taken on the bodies vaginally and anally to look for sexual assault. Now, this case was starting to become pretty big news. Being rural town, this stuff doesn't happen every day. So a task force was set up to take calls on information anyone had. They also showed images of like a Mother's Day card and Santa lists from the kids, and it hurt my soul. Like they're just trying to get attention, maybe trying to make people feel bad and come forward that might know something and don't want to. So this case started to make traction, with detectives knowing whoever did this had to have known Kez. Given the location of the property, they said you just wouldn't be able to stumble across it. Like apparently you had to go down a side road, and then, you know, the side road was a bit long and then it was off to the driveway, so it wasn't just easily accessible.
And at 3 a.m. in the morning,
you know where you're going. Being rural, there's no lights.
yeah, there wouldn't be.
It'd just be pitch black. So obviously they questioned her former partner Andrew. However, he had a solid alibi and they did not think it was him at all. They then thought that maybe it was drug gang related due to Karen previously dabbling in drugs, and it looked like she hung around that kind of crowd, like a bit of like the party, you know, don't know what kind of drugs they took, but the people she hung with obviously took drugs.
I'd like to just envision her as just a happy hippie.
Yeah.
You know, just smoking pot, nothing bad.
But also, just because you hang out with people that do drugs doesn't mean you do drugs. They also interviewed people at the party, which included no other than William or Bill Mitchell, who gave Kez a lift home that morning. He apparently also had a heated argument with Karen at the party. Not sus at all. So witnesses confirmed they saw him leave her house around 11 a.m. after dropping her home. So a few hours after her coming home at about 5, 6 o'clock. By this time, they took samples, and by they, I mean the officers, took samples from everyone they thought was a suspect, which was a fair few people. And they also took semen samples, also taken from the crime scene, but the technology back then was just so primitive, so they're not going to get answers straight away. On Friday, March 5th, the funeral was held for the family, and freaking annoys me, Bill was said to have attended, as he was a friend of Karen's. They always come back. They always...
Well, normally they return to the crime scene, right? I haven't heard of them attending this service.
Like, what kind of animal are you, knowing that you have caused this? You are surrounded by people that are crying. Like, I wonder, was he crying as well?
No.
How mentally effed up are you to be able to, obviously, let alone kill people, but then attend their funeral as well? And you know what you've done.
Yeah.
That's just a whole nother level. Not long after the funeral, there was a breakthrough in the case when they found the palm print was no other than Bill Mitchell's.
Escándalo.
So the only thing with this obviously wasn't hard enough evidence because he was said to be a friend. So of course you're going to find, I'd hate to think what you'd find around this house of yours. From me, you're welcome.
Just lip prints on everything, really.
Which ones?
Take your pick.
They were sus on him though. Like something, I mean, you look at his photo, he looks like a piece of shit.
He looks like trash.
He looks like trash. At around the same time of finding out that it was his print, that kind of thing, the police get a dramatic call from the party host. You know, the one Karen attended before her murder, saying someone had broken in and there's blood everywhere. Dun, dun, dun. They found Bill's wallet and assumed he was dead. Then, being the dramatic little dick-faced Bill that he is, burst through, fully naked, except for a towel, saying he was jumped by 3 men looking for the host, saying they knew he committed the murders. Bill told the gang he didn't know where he was, so apparently the gang took a fillet knife and tried to sever his penis. I wish they fully cut off the little piece of shit penis.
Yeah, he didn't really deserve to have one after that.
No. Castrate him. Fuck it. Fuck it off.
Fuck it off.
Not fuck it. Fuck it off. Right
Fuck
off.
it off.
You don't fuck off.
Fuck off, cunt. Get off.
Yeah, he also said he managed to get free and locked himself in the bathroom. How do you manage to get free from a gang?
A gang that's also got you in a position when you're naked and they're trying to sever your penis.
And also, why are you at the party host's house naked? Without him even home.
And with your dick in someone else's hand.
Okay, Bill, story checks out.
Yeah.
So as he was bleeding badly, obviously they took him to the hospital under police supervision, because I bet they just smelt like, I don't know what you're spinning, boy, but this ain't the truth. So police are full sus on this mofo, grilling him about his story, and finally the piece of crap admitted he fabricated the story, and the wound was self-inflicted.
I just want to...
I don't even have a penis, and I feel weird. Like, ooh.
Was it just like a superficial scratch?
It doesn't sound like it.
Or was it like a deep cut near the base of the penis?
Well, the fact that they said there's blood everywhere and, like, walking in, it looked like a crime scene, it sounds like it was not just a nick. Like, surely you have to be on something to be able to do that. But he told them he had tried to kill himself for personal reasons. So that's why he slit his dick. And he was charged for making a false statement. But also, that is not how you kill yourself.
You don't go for the dick.
Yeah, why would you do that to yourself? I'm sorry for every male listening to this. I'm sure you're flinching and holding on to your cojones. Because same, and I don't even have them. Now, get this. He didn't even do this in the house he was found at. He did this at a coastal caravan park near Greenough. So he wounded himself, drove to this house somehow, and then staged the whole little crime scene. So he didn't even cut his dick at the party. So the caravan park, a cleaner found blood and semen splattered everywhere, and also found a porn magazine that was slashed to pieces with a razor blade. There was blood and semen everywhere.
The fact that he would even try to pleasure himself after he's got a half-severed doodle.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, did he jack off and then cut his doodle?
Or did he try to use the blood as...
Ew.
Do you get where I'm going?
Yeah, I do. Well, I mean, blood and semen splattered everywhere in a porn mag. And the fact that he slashed up the porn mag too? Surely you're not rubbing one out after you've half severed your dick just to see what happens. Well, I mean, this man, who knows, right? So luckily, the cleaner was smart and called the police because he thought it was super odd to find. And obviously this case is in the media, so... probably thought, hey, this might be linked. So police were called, obviously, given everything that's going on in the media. Now, just remember, this part was not released to the media. Mm-hmm. So the cleaner finding all of this stuff, that was not released. So just remember that. Now, at the time, they had around 25 people of interest, and they started going through all the details again. For some reason, had to re-fingerprint everyone again as well. It just seemed like a shit show. Now, Jones and some officers visited Mitchell at the farm, where he worked, obviously, to grab some fingerprints again. As I said, they were grabbing everyone, so this idiot made a comment to the detective, and he said, "I'm surprised you're still going on with the investigation. I thought you had caught the bloke who did this. I heard in the press that he was behaving very strangely in some caravan park, and you caught up with him." Which, of course, rings alarm bells, because that info had not been released to the public yet. So the detective is probably like, tell me a bit more about this story that you've heard in the media. Now, the officers are still waiting for everything to fall into place. Given this comment, they obviously know it's got to be him, but they can't do anything about it, so they keep him under surveillance.
I would have been like, show us your dick.
Yeah, right? So unfortunately, another 2 nights went on before they were able to grab him due to waiting results on the evidence, that kind of thing. So a total of 5 long weeks this case went on before the piece of shit was arrested. He coldly confesses to the murders once he was taken in. So Mitchell took them step by step what actually happened, and police were so shocked at how cold he was reliving this crime. They said he just didn't show any emotion or remorse, and they said he was just describing it as if he had washed his car that day. And there's even photos online that you can see of him standing with officers in the house, like pointing at something. Like being like, oh yeah, I did this.
I
and
did this
I
over
raped
there.
her there. And
I did that over
this.
there, yeah.
Yeah, piece of crap. He told officers on his way back to Gelatin he stopped and threw the axe into a river and later disposed of the hand cream in a bin. So obviously divers went to look for the murder weapon to see if it was there, and they found it in a riverbed of the Greenough River, and they still found hairs attached to the axe, which is interesting because 5 weeks later of like a weapon.
You would though, like there are grooves and stuff that the hair might get stuck in. Have you ever had found a hair in between your teeth?
Oh.
For whatever reason? That shit is hard to pull out, so...
For whatever reason. Yeah.
Gross!
You said it.
I wasn't talking about a pubic hair.
What else would... No, I know what you mean. I'm sorry. Not really. So he admits to officers that he went to the house determined to kill the family, but wasn't sure why he wanted them all to die. Like, come off it. You knew why. So I saw footage of them taking him away in a van, and there was like 300 people standing outside just screaming abuse at him. which made me happy. In September 1993, Mitchell pleaded guilty to 4 counts of willful murder, 3 counts of indecently interfering with a dead body. Would that be rape or...
That would be...
Or moving them, or... I didn't know you could get charged with interfere. You know what I mean?
I knew you could, just because of the stuff I've heard about interfering with a crime scene or...
Oh, yeah. Okay, that part. He was charged for several unrelated counts of armed robbery, which he used a knife and syringe. Not surprised. He sounds like a piece of shit.
He sounds like a nutter.
Justice Neville Owen said these killings had to have been premeditated and rejected any defense based on Mitchell's intoxication and drug use, and noted that the clarity of his confession and recollection of the whole events, they were just like, yeah, no, don't try and use drugs and that. But also remember that part because it comes to bite them in the butt a little bit later. In October 1993, Williams was sentenced to 20 years life imprisonment with strict security and the right to appeal for parole at the end of that time, which would have made him 44 if he got out in 2013. Obviously, the public is not impressed. For 4 murders, 20 years. That's just ridiculous. So the Crown launched an appeal and the parole ruling was overturned, which saw his sentence increase to the term of his natural life. Of course, Mitchell, being the piece of shit he was, appealed to the High Court and they reinstated the eligibility of parole after he'd served his time in 2013. So the whole issue around the parole thing I found was that they couldn't confirm or deny that Mitchell would be fit to be released back into the community, pretty much. So pretty much saying, well, if he got off drugs and alcohol, maybe he wouldn't be the person that he was. I'm sorry, you should not have parole. You kill someone, that's it. No second chance. I'm sorry, you can't be rehabilitated. Obviously, unless it's outside of self-defense or something like that. And to kill 4 people in one sitting, you ain't coming back from that. And raping a child. I'm sorry, but no, you don't get another chance. I even heard the family say they couldn't fight this for some reason, so a petition was started to have the death penalty reinstated in WA for murderers like Bill Mitchell. So kind of sad that the family couldn't even appeal, I guess, because it would just be a back and forth all the time. It was later revealed that when Mitchell was arrested, he finally admitted that Karen had refused his sexual advances. I can talk. When he took her home that Saturday morning after the party. I just can't. Like, she denied you sex, and so you go back and kill her.
Why is that always the case?
Like, couldn't you just be like a normal guy, call her fat and ugly and say, oh, I didn't want you anyway?
Or just not even do that and just say, okay, I misread the situation, no problem. I'll leave you alone. You
have to be an intellectual person to do that. So 2013, Mitchell appeared before WA Prisoners Review Board, which he was denied. So he can actually appeal again every 3 years. So obviously 2016, he applied again and was denied. They once again asked he never be released from jail and to remain in prison for the term of his natural life. Interesting, I found an article in 2018 from Perth Now in it listed some murderers who have officially been banned from parole consideration for 6 years, so until about 2024. And guess whose name was on there?
Bill!
Yes, old mate Bill. Because he's only 52, so this guy could still go out and live somewhat of a life.
He's younger than me mum.
So super sad. Karen's sister would be working her ass off to make sure with every appeal that he doesn't get let out. She was quoted as saying, it would be nice for a little break. I just got so excited there because this is like, the sister is just a badass bitch. She went in to meet Bill in 2010 because she wanted to talk to him face to face, like the boss ass bitch that she is.
I don't think I'd have it in me to do that.
I don't think I could either. She didn't ask questions about why. She just told him about how much she loved her sister and the family, and she also asked him if he wanted to get out of jail, and he's, going on his little rant, oh, I'm a changed man, oh, blah, 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 I'm so sorry. This bad bitch looked him in the eye and said, I will do everything I can to keep you in jail, after making him admit, yeah, I want to get out, I'm changed, blah, blah, blah. just turns around and goes, no.
Listen, sucker.
Listen, bitch.
Not on my watch.
I just wanted to end on a little high there because that is the story of the Greenough murders and William Little Half Dick Floppy Mate Mitchell.
Little half-dick Floppy Mate Mitchell.
Yeah, that's not his full name. I was just going to call him William Little Floppy Dick Mitchell. Why'd you go cross-eyed then? So yeah, he's a piece of shit.
A piece of shit is too good for him.
But that was
so
my
gross.
story.
Well, thank you, Not, for sharing.
You're welcome.
Just the topic, I think I'm getting better at being able to
You are.
listen to that kind of stuff.
100%
now.
you are. I'm so proud of you. Look at you go, girl.
I
Good
may have
girl.
sighed a couple of times, but I didn't grimace.
No, you didn't at all.
So, I think I'm getting better at listening to it. It's such a hard topic anytime you talk about murder of children, especially, and rape of it's horrible.
Sometimes I just like to focus on how much of a piece of shit the murderer is.
Little
bitchel. Thanks
bitchel.
for joining us today, little mung bean.
Yeah, thanks. And on that note, have a great day.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.